use the Seward Park Campus Library databases. These are actually databases that are available to all New York State students. Any DOE school would have access to these. You'd also have access to them anywhere within New York State. So if you do reside outside of New York State, you won't be able to access these databases. There is a password, but it only works partially, so really doing the research here at school is probably your best bet. So please go to sewardparkcampuslibrary.org. And when you get there, you're going to head right over here to this research, which is the 5th tab over. When you click on research, you will see I'm actually going to be posting this video first. So this is for U.S. history. This is another database for a U.S. history class. But you want to just scroll down until you get to the New York City School Library System. This is specifically curated for all DOE schools. And so I think even if you have siblings in elementary school, they technically still have access to all of this. The main database we're going to focus on is called Gale Academic One File. The big cloak and dagger here is actually most of these are Gale databases, and the other one is Britannica, which is an encyclopedia. So I'm going to take you through Gale Academic One File, and then I will briefly show you Britannica later. So when you click on that, we'll open in a new window. And you'll see it's very much like a Google search. And so in this topic bar, you would type your topic. If you don't have a topic yet, you could also browse by discipline. So there are preset topics here. There's browse by topics. And there's also a topic finder. So if you're really stuck, this is kind of a fun little tool. It's very visual, where you could, maybe you want to do something about law, but you have no idea. It will actually start narrowing things down for you in a very graphical manner. And so it will show you kind of like, oh, did you mean law firms, law schools, law enforcement? And then kind of like this zoom in, it will keep zooming in. And it will start displaying what articles are available on the side here. So that's one way to do it, not most ideal. But the way your teacher probably has it is you probably already have a research question. And so to the best of your ability, you want to type in the most pertinent parts of that research question or topic that you're looking at. So I'm just going to follow this thread, the legal justice system, in America, for example. I'm trying to get as granular as I can. The more specific you are, the more narrowed down it will be. Now, you will see anytime you do a search, there is an advanced search button. So if you're very specific in your research, you may want to add in like, I want these terms specifically and these terms. Like if you were looking not just in America, but also in New York City, right? You can fill in these things to make it more granular. If you're still in the broad phase, you may want to keep it a little bit broader so you can just start to see what's out there, because sometimes you'll find the research is available and sometimes you'll find the research is a little bit harder to access. The nice thing about Gale is that it accesses academic journals, magazines, books, and newspapers. Sometimes it will have photos and videos, but I guess for the legal justice system in America, there are none. And you can also filter by the date. So if you know that you don't want super old articles, a document type, I would suggest keeping this full text document checked off so that you can actually get full documents back. Now, right off the bat, you want to pay attention to what the first results will be telling you. So there's obviously a title, and that will link to the actual article. It will tell you what journal it is from. It will tell you the date, and this is really key because this is searching a wide variety of academic journals, and so some of them can be old, and this is at this point over 24 years old. You may not want to access this. It will also show the number of words and tell you if it's an article. In some cases, it will also tell you the Lexile level. So roughly, I like to kind of lop off the last two numbers. So an 1160 Lexile means it's meant for an 11th grade reading level. Now, I'm getting a lot of different random topics as I'm looking here. So, we'll get into that with honing down your research question. But I just want to show you today how the database works. So the first article I saw, okay, it's within a, roughly 10-year date range. Seems like a full document with 1,200 words. It's a letter to the editor. It's going to be slightly difficult because it is a 1,400 lexile, meaning it's probably a college level article. So let's see what happens when we click on it. The nice thing about the articles is that they are pre-loaded and they're always going to look like this in Gale. You have a few things you can do. You can translate the document into other languages. You can decrease and increase font size. You can change the display options, and you can also get it read to you. Another great thing is that if you know that you like this article, you can actually have it sent to your Google Drive. And so I would recommend being logged in for this. And what it will do is it'll ask you, oh, what is your Google Drive? Have you log in? And it will actually create a folder for you. You don't even have to do anything. So later, if you wanted to go back to this article, it is there. I would suggest with academic journals that you do read what is in the bulk of the document, because they will be long, but they are quite involved. And just to say, oh, this seems like infringing laws seems like a good idea, but then you'll see it's very specific. This is about American constitutional law. This is specifically about honing in on a biographic information. You can see also this fun thing that's popping up is as you're reading, you can make notes. So I see very much this is like a very, it's about Sharia law, it's about Muslim Americans, and it delves into maybe a specific topic that I wasn't leaning towards. But just like you would make notes on a piece of, on a text that you can write on with a highlighter, you can do that here. So just a note for yourself, oh, this is about Sharia law. And when you come back to Gale Academic OneFile, all of these will be saved. I know that your teacher's also asking you to cite your sources, and the very easy and nice thing these days is that all the academic journals and articles and newspaper articles are already pre-cited for you. So if you click on cite, just pay attention to what kind of citation your teacher is asking for. Most standard is MLA, but APA is also a possibility. Again, you can either select this and just copy it and paste it into directly a document that you have, or you can send this to yourself in Google Drive, which is kind of a nice thing that a nice option that makes research a bit easier. I also wanted to show you that when you click on the above tab, you will also get different types. So for example, say you notice the academic journals were a little heady, a little old. Magazines tend to be a little bit more recent and up to date, and they tend to be a little lower lexile, although we did choose a pretty heady topic here. So, just keep that in mind. At times there will be access to books. Usually with books, it's not the entire book, although I don't know, right here you can see, judging from the number of words, this is a pretty long, it's a report. But for the most part, you'll get what's called an abstract, which is a summary of the book. So just keep in mind, if your teacher is asking you to use a book, you may actually then have to go and find that book, most likely in a public library and a research library. Finally, the news tab will have most of your most recent and shorter articles, and these are actually newspapers. You can see under each one what newspaper everything comes from. The final thing I want to show you today is also if you are being asked to use an encyclopedia as a source, and you might use this for context or background research, so nothing really up to date. Britannica is a great place to start. So you are all, I'm sure, very familiar with Wikipedia. And Wikipedia is great for personal research. It gives you a lot of kind of background information and helps you know what questions to ask initially. But Britannica is the, one of the original encyclopedias where Wikipedia got its name from. And the idea is, they've got articles, videos, primary sources, and journals that have all been vetted. So nothing is on Britannica that you have to be suspect about, like, oh, I'm not sure if this is someone's opinion. Did someone just edit or add this? And that's the main issue with Wikipedia is there are a lot of like armchair research people that are like, oh, I know everything there is to know. And so consider reading Wikipedia like listening to your really wise Uncle Joe who knows a lot of facts, but you're not quite sure if everything's been fact checked. So when you search Britannica, I don't even know what will turn up here, but it will be a more general search. And so, maybe if you're looking for legal terms, if you're looking for the history of courts, so these are all kind of these shorter encyclopedia articles that you might use, especially in the introduction of your paper. And this is not exactly what I'm looking for, so I'm gonna click on justice of the peace. Perhaps this was a term I was looking for or encountered. As you can see, it's a rather short paragraph. It gives you just an idea, but also always look along the top because sometimes there are, I guess not here, images and videos. There might be related articles. This one, tells me, oh, okay, I've now got a whole bunch of terms, legal terms that would help me. And it will tell you how they updated the article. So you can also see encyclopedias tend not to update as often as a website or a newspaper because these are kind of old facts that pretty much stay tried and true. So we'll leave it there. I will just kind of point and hint, if you're looking to get into more high-level research, if you have your New York Public Library card, you also have access to the databases, many, many more databases with your library card. So it's the same idea, a topic search, you can do it here, but you'll be able to access more in-depth databases. I'm not going to go into that today because it's a bit next level, but when we're ready for it, you can just let me know, or you can poke around yourself and see what you come up with. So if there are any questions, please make sure you save them for when I'm in class or come by the circulation desk. Thanks.